And Shalom, Akim Shalom. Start off this lesson by giving all praises, honor, and glories due unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Rakakodastam Yad. Double honors to my elders and apostles at Great Millstone who teach and rule well in the scriptures, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, to you brothers pushing this word on the highways and the byways in truth and sincerity. You I say Shalom. Now, Akim, I'm gonna entitle this lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. I'm gonna entitle this lesson Divine Intervention is coming back in a big way to the elect and the 1/3. And my first precept I want to get, Akim, is and I mean divine intervention on the right hand side, not on the left hand side. You guys who want to scoff at this truth, you 2/3, man. Hey, man, all of you. You know what I'm saying? You will be subjected to divine intervention on the left hand side. You know what I'm saying? And I can actually get into that during this lesson, if the Spirit wills it. But the first verse the first scripture I have, Akim, I'm going to start at Acts 12:3. I'm just going to give some precepts on divine intervention. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to try to keep this quick, short, and to the point, Akim. And make it as edifying as possible. That's the goal. All things be done for edification's sake, man. If it ain't for edification's sake, leave it the hell alone. Akim, I have a scripture. This is Acts 12:3. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread, that's spiritual. We're in those days now. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. Peter therefore was kept in prison, and I believe it's not Easter, it's Passover. We don't celebrate Easter, man. Peter therefore was kept in prison, but prayer was made without ceasing of the church unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah for him. And when Herod would have brought him forth that same night, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers bound with 2 chains, and the keepers before the door kept the prison. And behold, the angel of the Lord came upon him, and a light shined in the prison. Salakia Akim. A light shined in the prison, and he smote Peter on the side, and raised him up, saying, Arise up quickly. And his chains fell off from his hands. And the angel said unto him, Gird thyself and bind on thy sandals. And so he did. I got another precept, Akim. The next precept I'm going to get is Romans 8:28. I'm just kind of flowing with the Spirit, Akim. I'm going to get the precepts first, then I'm going to kind of expound on them because they all, hint towards the same thing. This is Romans 8 and verse 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, to them who are called according to his purpose. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn born among many brethren. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. And whom he called, them he also justified. And whom he justified, them he also glorified. What shall we then say to these things? If Yahweh be for us, who can be against us? Got another precept, Akim. Flowing through the Spirit, man. So just, like I said, bear with me. I'm getting Daniel 3:25. This is Daniel 3:25. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. The form of the 4th is like the son of Yahweh. So, okay, Akim. That's really, I got some other precepts lined up, but those are really the key precepts I had hinting on divine intervention. Now, like it said in Romans 8:28, we know all things work. Let me go back to it, Akim, because I hate trying to roughly paraphrase scriptures all the time, man. This is Romans 8 and 28 again. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, to them who are called according to his purpose. So we know that Jacob's trouble, like the tribulation that we going to go through, is going to work to our good. Peter was thrown in prison, but it worked unto his good at the end of the day, man. You know what I'm saying? And Yahweh Bashim Yahushua was for Peter. So those Herod couldn't be against him, man, and it was proven through divine intervention. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua was for Daniel, was for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So Nebuchadnezzar could not be against them. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is for the men of the Lord. Therefore, you so-called other Esau, the so-called white man, you other nations cannot be against us, man. You UN troops cannot be against us. You elite, you know, we're not for your turn. You cannot be against us, man. And I got another scripture, man. The Lord's gonna lift up a standard when you come down to roll on the men of the Lord, man. And that in itself is divine intervention. The Lord's gonna have to come in and to intervene in that situation when Esau comes in like a flood and lift up the standard. That itself is a perfect example. I'm gonna get Isaiah 59 and 19, man. Divine intervention is coming back to the elect and the 1/3 on a large scale. Salakia, I think. Give me just a second. This is Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. You know what I'm saying? That standard is going to be that spiritual power that the elect will be bestowed with to defend themselves. Hence, divine intervention. You know what I'm saying? So, I got some more precepts. I'm going to get those. And, you know, that was basically my point, man. No matter what we go through, ain't nothing going to keep us from that love that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has for us, man. And if he's for us, if they are for us, can't nobody be against us. Hey, man, we got to hold on to them. We will be, and if we do, we will be increased at our last end. If we endure into the end, you know, we can and we will. The Lord puts the Spirit on us to endure into the end, because that's what it's going to take. Then, hey, man, if he does, that means we made it, man. You know what I'm saying? But nobody, you can't say, none of us know if the Lord, if we going to make it, it ain't the end yet. We ain't at the end yet, man. So we're not saved. You know what I'm saying? We just got to endure, though. I got some more precepts, though, but like I was saying, man, hitting on the fact that the Lord's going to be, he going to take care of his elect, man. In the 1/3, he going to take care of his election. You know what I'm saying? So, I got a couple of more precepts, and then I'm going to close it out, man. Divine intervention, and then that's what I wanted to do. Then that's the Spirit, call Halayim La Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Rakakodastam Yah, for putting the Spirit on me to remember. We got right hand, we got examples of intervention on the right hand, divine intervention on the right hand side, and we're definitely going to get some examples through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua of divine intervention that's coming to you 2/3 on the left hand side, man, because it's coming. You know what I'm saying? This is Acts. I got Acts 9 and 1, though, Akim. Acts 9 and 1 through 6, actually. Alright, this is Acts 9 and 1. And Saul, yet breathing out threatenings and slaughter against the disciples of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, went unto the high priest and desired of him letters to Damascus, to the synagogues, that if he found any of this way, whether they were men or women, he might bring them bound unto Jerusalem. And as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven. Whew, divine intervention. And he fell to the earth, and he heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? This, man, Yahweh Shah came down and talked to the Apostle Paul, man. That's another beautiful example of divine intervention, man. And he said, who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Yahushua, whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. So, you know, when y'all come up and persecute the men of the Lord, you're spiritually persecuting Yahushua, man. You fucking scoffers. You know, y'all are kicking against the pricks, man. It's doing you no fucking good, man. And it's gonna work it's gonna work a greater condemnation for you. You know what I'm saying? I got another precept, Akim. I'm gonna get Matthews 10:1, then I'm gonna hit on getting that divine intervention on the left hand side. Some examples of it through the Spirit. Matthew 10:1. Okay, I got Matthews 10:1. It says, and when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. That was divine intervention on the spiritual ass whipping that the inhabitants of Jerusalem, of Israel and Jerusalem, were taking at that time. The Lord spiritually, he divinely intervened by giving the apostles the spirit to cast out devils, to cast out unclean spirits, and to heal and do different miracles and things of that nature, man. That's divine intervention in itself, because you're going to have that happen again on this side with the man of the Lord. You know, a lot of us are going to be casting out demons. We're going to have to do some exorcisms, man. The Lord is going to send, well, again, Ecclesiastes 1:9, man. You know, the thing that have been is that which shall be. It's a lot of people with unclean spirits on them. It's a lot of diseases and mental sicknesses and illnesses that, you know, some of the men of the Lord are going to purge out of you people, man. And that's going to be the Lord divinely intervening into your life, man. You know what I'm saying? By way of his prophets. You know, just another example, Akim. Hopefully this lesson is edifying, man. But I got some scriptures on divine intervention on the left hand side, man. And we're gonna get an example of that here in Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus, the 39th chapter, and I got the 20. I'm gonna start at the 28th verse. Well, actually, I'm gonna start at Ecclesiasticus 30, 39, and 26. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil, and clothing. All these things are for good to the godly. Romans 8:28, man. You know what I'm saying? All these things are good to the godly, are good for the godly, good to the godly. So to the sinners they are turned into evil. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the Lord can divinely intervene on the right-hand side of your life or by the way of the left-hand side, man. And we're going to show you how he intervenes. He can send the angels or them wicked spirits. We're going to get into some examples of that here in Sirach, the 39th chapter, man. Ecclesiasticus, the 39th chapter in the Apocrypha. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance. Vengeance of who? Whom does vengeance belong to? Does it belong to us? No, it belongs to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, what's the time of destruction? Jacob's trouble. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword being Esau, the so-called white man, pursuant to Psalms the 17th chapter, pursuant to Isaiah 10 and 13. You know what I'm saying? It says, and the wicked, meaning the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment, they shall be ready upon earth when need is. Meaning they gonna make divine intervention without delay for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. So this is serious. And you know, it says, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. So, you know, you got spirits that's going to come down here and divinely intervene on the left-hand side, and they not going to work to the good for you 2/3, man. You know, and I'm going to get an example of divine intervention that worked not to the good for this particular person. This particular person being King Ahab. You know what I'm saying? So, give me just a second, Akim, to get to it. Let's see. I'm gonna get there, Akim. Give me just a second. Okay. This is you know, King, just giving a quick breakdown of it. King Jehoshaphat, King Yahweh-Shaphat, and King Ahab, they was going to go to war. King Jehoshaphat didn't want to go to war without inquiring of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And there was this one prophet who was of the Lord, but, you know, he was being persecuted at the time, man. At the time King Jehoshaphat called for him, he was in prison. You know, that history repeats itself. The thing that hath been is that which shall be. We just talked about the Apostle Peter being thrown into prison, the Saint Peter being thrown into prison, man. So, getting into a divine intervention that happened on the left-hand side, you know, to King Ahab, man. They was getting ready to go to war, and the Lord wanted divine intervention to happen during that. He wanted, he wanted divine intervention to happen so that King Ahab and them would go to war, man, regardless of what the prophet Micaiah said, man. So with no further ado, here's 1 Kings, the 22nd chapter, and let's see. I'm gonna start at verse 18. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, did I not tell thee that he would prophesy no good concerning me, but evil? And he said, hear thou therefore the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. I saw Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. Meaning that the Lord had the angels on the right hand side and the left hand side, you know, inquiring of each of them how he would get this to come to pass, how he would get King Ahab's death to come to pass. You know what I'm saying? How he would divinely intervene. Would he do it on the right hand side or the left hand side? So it says, I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. And the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab? Meaning that he asked them either on the right hand or the left hand, man. Who gonna do it? He said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this manner, and another said on this manner, on that manner. Meaning they said, you know, Lord, I can do this. Lord, I can do that. The Lord was just kind of like, one spirit said something that caught the Lord's attention. We're going to get to that. This is 1 Kings 22 and verse 21. And there came forth, let's see, a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. Now therefore, behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Lord hath spoken evil concerning thee. So the Lord and King Ahab did die, and he fell at war. So the Lord had that happen by way of divine intervention. He sent a left-hand spirit to be a lying spirit in the mouth of King Ahab's prophets, man. And he got what he needed done, man. That spirit was ready to go forth, like I just explained to you in Ecclesiasticus, the 39th chapter, the 28th verse, man. Those spirits were joy.